Hey guys, what's going on? TN.Frank here. Been a while since I did a video, but I picked up a couple extra radios here, and I wanted to do a quick video on these. There's not a lot out on these. There are videos on the earlier version of this radio, the 5RM. There's videos on the UV 5RM and the UV 5RH. But I'm not seeing a whole lot on the AR-5RM. Yeah, the assault radio. Good title, assault radio. But yeah, I wanted to just kind of bring these out to your attention because they are a pretty decent little radio for the money. Of course, they are a little bit larger than the original UV5R, which I have here. I set this up for work. We started using radios at work. I got a little diamond stubby antenna and put on it and got it programmed with some work channels. But yeah, you can see it is a little bit bigger, got a larger screen, a little bit thicker overall. I mean, it's a heavier radio, but what this thing will do really offsets the difference in size, and we'll get into that here in just a minute. As you know, your UV5Rs are decent little radios. Now they're well under $20. They're like 17 bucks. So you get a lot of radio for that price. VHF, UHF, you get NOAA weather, you get FM radio, you get some decent stuff. And of course you can move up to like get the talk pod, which was kind of my go-to for air bands. These are 36 to 40, depending on where you pick them up. And then, you know, a really good, just a basic GMRS is the Ocean, the KG805G. This is a real workhorse. It's a real basic radio. GMRS, you do get FM radio. No NOAA weather though. And then of course, my Yaesu, my FT65, which I'm not real familiar with this radio. I bought it. It's my most expensive radio. This runs like 165 bucks, but I've not really used it enough to get to know it that well. And I mean, it's a decent radio, but like I said, 165. Of course, these Oceans are running 80, and these are, you know, 36 to 40, 16 or so. These guys are coming in under $30. And the cool thing is, just like the talk pod, these have air bands. The AR version is an unlocked one. If you get any of the others, they're not unlocked. You're not going to be able to get all your channels. This guy is unlocked. It'll come with just your basic antenna. There are variations you can buy for about the same money, where you'll actually get the larger antenna, and it's an Aubrey. It's a VHF, UHF. It's a good antenna. I didn't know about that variation, so the first two I bought, I had to pick up the longer antenna. Of course, for this one, I did get the GMRS. Main difference between the dual band and the single, if you look, GMRS is just a little bit longer. It's just tuned a little bit different to bring in those 462 megahertz channels. And then, of course, I do have my little Nagoya, you know, UHF, VHF, which is a handy little antenna. Realistically, it's probably going to be about the same. They look like they're the same length. They're probably tuned about the same. So you don't have to spend the money on the Nagoya. It's just nice to have one. But we can throw an antenna on one of these. I'll turn this on real quick, let you take a look at it. Let me put an antenna on here. Well, if you notice, you turn this on, see that little screen right there? I got a custom screen when I turn this on. I also put a different screen there. So yeah, you can add a custom screen when you turn these on. But this has a full range of of channels. Right now I have some aircraft. There's the Luke Air Force Base, the Phoenix Tower. I can go through and I got my DPS channels for public safety. I got some EMS channels put in this, fire channels. I mean, I've loaded this thing up with channels. I got Phoenix Sky Harbor. I put that in here. We can continue scrolling through. Goodyear, Glendale Airport. There was something going on there in Glendale Airport. And then you get all your GMRS channels, which we can scroll through quickly. Got my repeater channels. And then I have 6 work channels I programmed in here. The work channels are basically your GMRS channels with a CTCSS code to stop people from talking to us. They can still hear us. I can put on GMRS 1 and still hear us, but I can't talk. So I programmed that in with CTCSS. And then I do have MERS channels in here. But yeah, we'll go ahead. Let me swap this over. I'm going to put this over on GMRS 17. We're going to do a power test on these too, because these are rated at 10 watts. We'll see what we get though. We'll do a power test on these. I'll get my power meter. But yeah, like they always say, you know, 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is better. And at the price point, which is like 26 or 28 bucks for something with airband, plus it'll do, which I can show. Let me go ahead, let's go into VFO. You can see there's an airband channel. We can go 220. It'll go 220, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's like what, 1.25 meters, something like that. Anyway, you got your different channels. I believe, if I remember right, it'll do the 350. It'll do your 440. Of course, these are all ham bands. Those 3 are ham bands. I don't talk on those. And then, of course, your 462. There's your GMRS band. So you can get that. And so you got your basically 3 ham bands. 154, 550, if I remember right. That's one of your MERS. So there's several bands you can talk on. It'll transmit. You see there, it'll transmit. It will receive FM broadcast radio. It does receive the AM airband stuff. I do have the DPS stuff, the 460s and stuff locked out along with the EMS. I locked that out. So I can't transmit on there. I don't want to transmit on there. I don't want to interfere with anything like that. But for a versatile radio, you're doing everything that the TalkPod's doing, and you're doing it for, you know, 10 bucks or so cheaper. 2,500 milliamp hour battery, good size battery, which you can pop out. You can see there's FCC. This is an M. I guess they got M's and L's. Good size battery. The thing I like about this, it does have a little USB port. So I can plug this in and charge it with USB-C. You do have your K1 connection there. So you got your programming cable that'll plug right in. For my little UV5R, I actually had to buy a different battery with a USB-C. So that's an extra you got to get with this. This comes with it. So I didn't have to buy anything extra. But we can go ahead. There is one, I don't want to call it a flaw. There's one minor little issue I'm having with Chirp. These are supposed to be Chirp compatible. My issue is, since I am running a Linux distro, which MX Linux, which I love my Linux, I don't buy into that Microsoft crap. I have to use Wine to run Chirp Next, and for some reason it won't read the radio. People say theirs work fine. Mine's not working so well. And I don't know if it's because I'm having to run it through wine or what. People have told me, well, try plugging make sure your cable's plugged in. I have the good cable that has the built-in drivers. It works fine. With all these other radios, I've not had an issue. This one it won't read. Factory program, I downloaded it and I run it through wine, and it works. The only issue with factory program is you can't program airband channels. You got to go in manually, punch them in and save them. Then download it. They'll show up, which is weird because you can't put it in the program, but they'll show up. Then you can modify them, add a name or descriptor or whatever to them. So yeah, it takes a little effort to get these programmed, at least for me, but it's not anything that's not doable. But we can go ahead. Let me go get my meter and we will do some power tests. Then I'm going to go on desktop and show you what I'm talking about as far as programming and stuff. So I'll be right back. Alright, I got my meter hooked up. We're going to check voltage. We're going to start on a MERS frequency. And I know before anyone starts typing down in the comments, I know MERS is supposed to be limited to 2 watts. We're going to check it on high anyhow, just to see what we get. Let me finally get this focused in. If it'll focus. It's not focusing, but it's saying 8.51. Now we'll go ahead, let's switch down to our GMRS frequency. Hit it again. And we're at 7.69. Like I said, it's not really focusing. Maybe I can force it. No, it's not going to do it. So 769 there. Let's try another one. Let me unscrew this and we'll do another one. Okay, here we are. We're back on the same ones, green dot and GMRS 17. Let's see if we can zoom in. This one's putting out 9.10. Let's go down to GMRS. And that's 8.30. So this is actually putting out a bit more than number 1. Okay, and now here we are with radio number 3. I'm going to start with our MERS frequency. .85, that's pretty good. Now, GMRS frequency, 8.53. So I will crunch these numbers. I want to go ahead and crunch all these numbers, and I'll put something up here somewhere. Maybe I'll move all this out of the way, and then I'll put a card up just to show what we got. Alright, as you can see, we're on my desktop to my computer, and I run MX Linux. I don't drink that Microsoft Kool-Aid where they got all that spyware and crap. So yeah, MX Linux, that's a good way to go. KDE desktop, you can set it up how you like it. But let's go ahead. I got the radio plugged in. It's on. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to open Chirp, show you what I was talking about here just a second ago. Here's Chirp. We're there. Let's go to radio. Okay, we already got the BaoFeng AR-5RM. It's going to be COM port number 5. So there's COM port 5. Okay. Unexpected error communicating with the radio. I don't know if that's a Chirp thing or if it's a Linux thing, or if it's a wine thing, because I do run my EXEs, all my Windows stuff, in wine, it just won't communicate with it. And before you say, oh, was the cable plugged in or whatever, let's go to their factory stuff. This T6 UV, we'll open that. That's running under wine as well. Here it is. We go to settings, COM port 5, program. Let's read the radio. And there it is. It's reading the radio just fine. Pulling it in, no problem at all. And see, it read the radio. Here's all our channels. You see I got 72 different channels programmed in this radio. A lot of them are airband, which one issue I have with this program, a lot of other people have pointed this out. Let's try putting an airband frequency. 118,500, that's airband. Frequency is error. It will not take that frequency. Even though I do have airbands in there. Here's a 118,700, 120,400. I got airband frequencies in there. I mean, you got to program them manually, and then you'll go in and add your name or whatever you want to. You can go ahead where it says scan. If you're not careful when you do this, it'll be adding it to your scan. I don't want to scan airband. Yeah, I don't want to scan my airband. I just want to scan my DPS channels, which that's these 460s here, where it says add. That's your highway patrol. I got east, south, west, and central. I got them in there. I scan those. I got it in my truck radio too. I scan them. But then airband is something, and I got fire, EMS. I mean, I loaded it up with channels. Here's my MERS channels. I got work channels. I got 6 of our work channels. So they picked up some FRS radios, some little Redibus, crappy little Redibus radios. But I put them in there with the CTCSS codes. And then you see, like, here's one repeater. It's got a DCS code. But I got my repeaters in here. But it's all right there. It'll read it and write it. No problem at all. If you want to add a custom start screen or that screen, you go power on picture. It's in tools. COM port 5, open image. Of course, this does look like Windows because I am running it under Wine and I got it set for Windows 10. But here, go to Home, TN.Frank. We'll go down here to Pictures. And then I got all these little bitmaps in here. You can open it. There's like a dope tread on me. Go in, let me find another one. Pictures. Here's another bitmap. It's got to be a bitmap, and it's got to be 160 by 128. There's a little Tennessee flag. It didn't look right to me, so I didn't put it in. But then you just install the picture. It's very simple to add a custom start screen when you turn the radio on, and it's just there for a second, but it kind of adds a little something extra to make it your own. So that's just another little nice feature. I mean, for under 30 bucks, you're getting a lot with these radios. I just wish they would redo their factory programming so I could add airbands. It would make my life a lot easier. But yeah, you see here, it's not too hard to do. Just do your factory programming. So let's go back over to the tabletop now. As you see though, I mean, Chirp's not working for me. A lot of people said it works for them. That's good, but for me it's not. But the original programming you download from BaoFeng, it's working. It's got the little glitch of air bands. You got to program them in manually. So it's not really a deep dive on these. I mean, there's all the different buttons and menu options and all. That's going to all be in your manual, which it's a pretty good manual, written in decent English. But I'd say right now, TalkPod A36 Plus used to be kind of my favorite. because of the air bands and everything. Right now, though, with the price point on these, I think this is probably the best bang for the buck you're going to get. Under 30 bucks. You have all those different frequencies you can transmit on. You have all those frequencies you can receive. FM broadcast, NOAA weather. You know, your air bands. Which, a cool thing about this, NOAA weather, while we're talking, before I end the video, while we're talking, turn this guy on. For NOAA weather, on these little guys here, I had to program in the station. This, you just hold down to 0.
15 degrees above normal and high temperatures near or breaking daily records will be common through early next week under mostly sunny skies.
You can see, and then you just hold it down again. So it's already there. You don't have to program anything for your NOAA weather radio. It is there. And like I said, you got your FM. This one I've not put a channel in. Let's go 100.7. So you got your FM radio. This does have a light. Thing I like about the light too, it's countersunk down in. It doesn't stick up like these guys. And it's just, you know, you got your light, your flash, and of course if you long press that, it'll break the squelch. It just breaks the squelch. These are not programmable either. On these others, you got programmable. This is just going to be your light and breaking the squelch. That's just FM radio, and the alarm, which I got set to internal. I don't broadcast it. I honestly don't know what you'd use the alarm for. I'm sure there's a use for it that people will do, but for me, it's kind of a worthless feature. But like I said, shop around. If you want the 2 antenna deal, they got the 2 antenna deal. It's going to cost you exactly the same as getting it with just a single. That'll save you $8. These little guys are about $8, which it doesn't break the bank, but I mean it's just nice to get both your antennas that you need. So yeah, I hope you kind of found this helpful. Just wanted to get this video out there and let everyone know if you need a good GMRS ham radio that'll also do MURS, and like I said, if you're worried about the 2 watt, you can set it on low power and it'll probably put you right there where you need to be. Look into these. The A-5RM AR assault radio. Pick one up. Go on Amazon and get one and have fun, program it, and have a good radio you can use for under 30 bucks. Get 3 or 4 of them. Get them for the whole family. So hope you found this helpful and useful. Like I always say, either we stand up for our rights or we can sit by and watch them go away. You all have an awesome rest of the day. We'll talk to you later. Tennessee Frank out of here.